Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To my respected friends, everywhere. Okay, this is going to be a video about the intermediate level book, um, published by Headway, or rather by Oxford University Press. And the book version that I'll be using, okay, is going to be this book that you'll see now on your screen there. And then this book, this is what we call the special edition, okay? Reason being, this is a particular book that you will find available mostly in the Arab-speaking world. Okay, now for the purpose of this video today, I'm going to be talking about again unit number 3, and by doing so, I will be providing a revision, okay, an overview revision of all of the grammar that is particularly important. Okay, so that's good. Now, that being said, let me just remove that out of the way, okay? And at the same time, I'm going to show you my my desktop shortly. Bismillah. And here, what we're going to be doing, I'll be presenting you a PowerPoint presentation. Again, this is all provided by Oxford University Press, and these are often available if anybody wishes to have access to them. I will certainly leave a copy for everybody to download something from. Okay. Anyway, so let me switch over to my main desktop so you can see the actual slides. So if I put this into the presentation mode, okay. First thing first, we're going to talk about generally. We're going to talk about the past tenses. Okay. First, we're going to talk about the differences. Okay. So the differences between the past simple, past continuous, as well as the past perfect. Okay, so to begin with, if we look at the sentence, it says, when we got to the airport, and the key word is got. Okay, this is an irregular verb from the word get. So when we got to the airport at 11, okay, so if you look at the timeline here we have 10:30, here we have 11, and here we have 12. Okay, now if you look at this sentence here, when we got to the airport, okay, let's say we change the sentence. When we got to the airport, the plane had arrived. Okay, if you notice now, this is the past perfect. Okay, how do you know? Well, first thing is you look at the first verb. Okay, this is the helping verb. Okay, and it is the verb have, but in the past, had. Okay, and the second verb, which is the main verb, arrived. Now this is a regular verb with ed. However, we also refer that as the past participle. Often some people might call it the version 3 of the verb. Okay, let's have a look at an example. Here we have another sentence says, when we got to the airport, okay, Marco was waiting for us. Now, this is a different tense, if I'm sure most of you should know. This is the past continuous, right? How do we know? Well, first thing is that the helping verb in this example is was or were, okay? But we're using was because of singular Marco. And the second main verb, which is waiting, okay? This has an ing, right, added to it, right? And remember that when we use the past continuous, we're talking about an action that has taken place over a period of time, okay? Not just one time, but over a period of time, okay? Great, okay? So let's continue. And the last one, I parked outside the terminal. Okay, so if we complete the sentence again, when we got to the airport at 11, okay, I parked outside the terminal. So here we have one verb, right? One verb, regular verb with ed, Okay, so this is the past simple. So this action talks about a completed action, right? It's like, khalas, it's finished, it's done. Okay. Um, However, in this example, if you notice what we also have the word got. So we have one action, one past action that started first, which means that they got to the airport first, and then at 11 o'clock, they parked the car. Okay, good. Hopefully that's easy enough. All right, let's continue. Okay, so remember guys, simple rule, when we talk about the past simple, okay, we don't have to think about conjugating the verb. Like for example, when we talk about he or she or it, okay, we normally say he plays with an S, okay, he speaks with an S, all right. And if I change it to, for example, an I or a you, for example, say I speak, now without an S. You speak, again without an S. Okay, so let's have a look. I worked hard. Okay, I worked hard. Good, it's easy enough. Next one. You didn't call me. Now remember, when we talk about the negative, okay, number one, and when we talk about the question form, okay, in the past simple, we should be using did. Okay, so here is the negative form, didn't call me. And then here is the question, and this is of course an open question. And you know guys, you should know why, because of the word when. Okay, so this is a question word. And question words, you know, come in many forms. We have what, we have where, we have how, you know, we have whom, whose, many of them. Okay, all of those, if used, okay, they will all be open questions. Okay, when did they arrive? And then a closed question, quite simply, without. Okay, without a question word. So here we have, did it snow? Okay, so yes it did, or no it didn't. Okay, excellent. All right, so why do we use the past simple? What does it allow us to express? Okay, all right, so let's have a look at this first example. We met John yesterday. Okay, so here we're talking about a finished action, you know, that happened when? Yesterday, right? Yesterday. Okay, and the main verb being met. Okay, another example here. I woke up at 3 a.m., went downstairs, and saw a burglar. Now, you've noticed all of these verbs are in the past simple, but they happen in sequence, right? One step, one action stops, another action starts, okay? So here, this is like a story that one action explains one situation, another action that comes after it explains another situation, okay? And the last example here, when he saw a student, okay, when he saw Paul worked in a bookshop, okay, so when he was a student, Paul worked in a bookshop. So here is talking about a past situation or a past habit, okay. So a habit is something that you probably do, that you used to do regularly in the past, okay. Sometimes we say the word I used to as well. Good. Now let's briefly look at the spelling rules, okay? Because this is very important. There's of course a difference, of course, when we talk about the regular verbs, okay? So we're going to talk about regular verbs first. So with ed, by the way. So here we have the word clean, okay? It's a regular verb. Arrive, clap, okay? Stay, regret, happen, and worry. Okay, so these are all regular verbs, but there are some slight differences. Okay, some slight differences. So for example, if you look at the first group of words, clean, arrive, and clap, okay, so here the word clean, we just simply add ed, right? Simple enough. However, if you look at the next word, arrive, okay, arrive has an E already, or rather, this is the silent E, okay, or the magic E. Here, we only need to do is just add D. That's it. There you go. Oh, actually, we already skipped one letter. So the third one, actually, before I talk about the third one, here's the second one, arrived. Okay. The third one, if you noticed, okay, this is, if you notice, the last letter here has been doubled. Why is that? Well, let me explain. If you noticed here, we have if you look at the last three letters, okay, the last three letters. So let me just quickly switch over to my main screen. So when we talk about the last three letters, okay, so in the word clap, we have the spelling C-L-A-P. So the last three letters is L-A-P, okay? So L is a silent letter, like, or a consonant, okay? A is a vowel, okay? And P, again, another consonant. So we have something called a CVC. So if you have a situation where you have a CVC ending, okay, the last letter should be doubled, okay? This is just a general rule to follow, okay? Good. Let's move on. The next one here, we have the word stay, okay? Now, stay has a Y ending, okay? So again, there's a slightly different rule when it comes to the Y ending. Okay, now here, if you notice, the Y has the letter A before it. So A, if you remember, is a vowel. So it's a loud sound, right? Like A. Now, when you have that, you don't need to do anything here. All you have to do is just add ed. Okay, ed, easy as that. All right. And what about this one? Regret. Okay, regret. What do we have here? Okay, now if you remember, guys, now again, this one has a double Y. Okay, look at the last three letters again. Here we have R, E. Sorry, I should switch over. Here we have, sorry about that. Here we have is regret, R, E, and T. Okay. But the last letter is a very strong t, like the word before, clap, p, right? And again, we have R-E-T, CVC. So again, we double the last letter and then we add ed, all right? Okay, now have a look at the word here, happened, okay? Happened, we just simply add ed, easy enough, all right? But remember the last letter, it's not a strong, it doesn't have a strong p. Look at the word happen. It's a very soft ending letter. So we don't double, okay, the last letter. We simply add ed, okay? And the last letter is a final one where we have another Y ending word. However, if you noticed here, the letter before it is an R. And an R is not a vowel, okay? So if you have something like that, then what we have to do is something slightly different, okay? What do? Is we drop, first thing we do is we drop the Y. The Y is bye-bye, okay? And then we add IED, okay? IED, such as this. So worry becomes worried, okay? Worry becomes worried. Okay, guys? Excellent. Good. So here, most verbs ending with, we add ed, okay? Verbs that end with an e, you simply add a d, okay? Some of the verbs where you have a vowel consonant, okay? You should double it, okay? Here we have a y with a vowel. We don't need to do anything here, okay? So, and then here we have the word regret. We double the T because the last sound is stressed. Stressed, okay? And here we have happened. We don't double it because the first, because the syllable is not stressed, okay? The last one is not happen. We just say happen with a khafif N, okay? And the last one here is with the Y, with the consonant Y, okay? So again, here, we just drop the Y and we add IED. Okay, excellent. Okay, good. So that ends the first example of the past tenses. Okay, so that was a good demonstration of what to understand about the ed spelling and understanding the difference between past simple, the past continuous, okay, and the past perfect. Remember, guys, the past perfect, why do we use it? We use it when we talk about an action, okay, in the past that has taken place or happened before another action, right? Another action, okay? Good. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Okay, we're gonna do another PowerPoint, okay, which I'm gonna show to you guys right now. Just bear with me. Okay, great. Here we are. So let me switch over to the other screen. Right. So here we're going to talk about a little bit more about the past continuous. Okay, so let's talk about the past continuous. What's the form? Normally we have the helping verb was and were, okay, plus verb, and that last verb must have an ing, okay, ing. So here's an example. I was having lunch. Easy enough. Here's a negative. They weren't listening to the radio. Okay. Here's an open question. What were you saying? Okay. And here's a closed question. Were you laughing? Yes, I was. Or no, I wasn't. Okay. Perfect. Okay. And why do we use the past continuous? Let's look at it together. Here's an example. At 8 p.m. last night, I was watching TV. Okay. So at a particular time, all right, I was watching TV. So here, it's expressed an activity in progress. Remember, continuous. Okay. At a particular time. The next example, when we got to the beach, it was raining. Now we're talking about when. We're using the word when. So when we got to the beach, it was raining. Okay. So this is describing a situation, describing a background. So you arrived at the beach, and and the situation is what? It's raining. Okay. Good. Let's continue. Here's another example. John was taking a nap when we arrived. Okay, so when we arrived is kind of considered an interruption, okay, of the action, the progressive action that's taking place before, which is was taking a nap. Okay, so this is it talks about interruption in the past activity. All right, so that means they woke John up, didn't they? Good. Next one, they were playing chess at lunch. Quite easy. Okay, this is maybe an incomplete activity. We don't know if they're still playing now. All right. Next one, they played chess at lunch. Now this is, as you see, this is the past simple, and this talks about a completed action. Okay, the difference between the continuous and the past simple. Okay, good. Here's some examples. We can do some practice here. He not drive. Okay, so this is a negative, so we can say he wasn't driving. Okay, he wasn't driving. This is a continuous. Here's a question, an open question for number 2. It says, what Ida do at the office? Okay, so do is the main verb, and Ida is a person, so he or she. So we can say, what was Ida doing at the office? Okay, what was Ida doing at the office? Perfect. And the last one is another negative. Here we have the word they and not, and the main verb is look. Okay, so we have they, so we must use were, not was, were. So the answer should be they weren't looking. They weren't looking. All right, guys? Excellent. Perfect. That ends the past continuous exercises there. Okay, so now we're going to do another slide, and we're going to talk about the past simple or the past continuous. Okay, you know, the differences and when to use one and when to use the other. Okay, good. So let me switch over to the other screen. Okay, here we go. Right. So sometimes both tenses are possible. Let's find out. Here we have a sentence that says, I'm sorry, I didn't go out with you last night. Okay, so here's a simple, past simple, didn't go last night. Okay, and here we have, I did my homework. Okay, instead. So, you know, we know why they didn't go, because, they had homework to do. They had homework. How about, so this is focusing on the completed actions, right? This is the past simple. If we change this to the past continuous, we say, for example, I was doing my homework, okay? So this is focusing on an activity. Remember, a continuous activity or a continuous period of action in the past, okay? Now, look at question number 2. So questions in the past simple and the past continuous refer to different time periods. Okay, how do we understand that? Let's have a look at the first. Let's look at the first example. What was Sam doing when the alarm rang? Okay, so we're focusing here, okay, on the period. You know, what was the period of action he was doing? So he was sleeping. Okay, so when the alarm rang, ding dong, he was sleeping. Okay, so the past continuous asks about the activities that started before. Okay, right, good. Here's another example of the past simple. What did Sam do when the alarm rang? So this is again the past simple. How do we know? We're using the word did. Okay, so we can say he ran outside. Okay, he ran outside. So this talks about an action that took place after. Okay, so after the alarm rang, what did he do? He ran outside. Okay, this is the action that took place after. Okay, again, this is a completed action. Okay, guys, complete action. Good. All right. Have a look at these examples. Now we have to choose the correct form. Okay, so how do we choose the correct form? Here's an example here where we have a question that is not completed. We have to complete the question, but before that, we have to look at the answer first. Okay, so the answer for the first one says, she told me I was late. All right, so first thing I see is that the answer is not in the continuous, and it is in the past simple. So we should also write the question in the past simple too, I'm sure. Okay, now, so what we should say, so we say, what did Maria say when you arrived? Okay, so what did Maria say when you arrived? So this tells us this is a simple question, past simple, and we already have the past simple answer. Great, excellent. Next question, let's have a look. Here we have another question that needs to be completed. But again, before doing so, let's have a look at the answer. The answer says, she was telling her son to answer the phone. Now here we have was telling. This is the form, the verb form here. So that tells us this is the past continuous. Great. So the question should also be in the past continuous. So how do we say that? So we should say, what was Maria saying when you arrived? Okay, so what was Maria saying when you arrived? Okay, guys, excellent, well done. So far we talked about the past simple and the past continuous, right? Now we're going to be talking about the past perfect. This is a very important subject for you guys as well, to make sure that you understand that. So let me just bring that up quickly. And again, this is a very, very, sometimes a misunderstood subject. So we're going to discuss it now together, okay? And I apologize for any background noise. That's my kids making a lot of noise there. All right, so let me switch back. So now we're going to be talking about the past perfect, okay? So when do we use it? Okay, so the past perfect refers to an action in the past that was completed before another action. Okay, so this is very important, before another action. Okay, so this will help you to understand the differences here. Okay, so let's have a look at an example here. All right, so here we have I had I had visited, this is the positive, I had visited New York before. You had visited New York before. We had visited New York before. Or we can say the negative, I hadn't visited New York before. You hadn't visited New York before. And we hadn't visited New York before. Okay, this is just one example. Another example, we can use the word eaten. Okay, I hadn't eaten dinner by 7 p.m. or I had eaten dinner by 7 p.m. Okay, so remember, with the past perfect, okay, this is the rule. We use the helping verb had, and then we use the second verb as the past participle. Okay, the past participle. All right, this is very important. Here's the question form. Okay, this is the open question. So what do we have to do to make a question? We just simply have to swap the subject and the helping verb. Okay, so the question now should say, where had you put the car keys? Where had she put the car keys? And where had they put the car keys? Okay, have you noticed, by the way, it doesn't matter if you use you, she, or they, it's all the same, right? It's all the same. Okay, and here's one more example of a closed question. Okay, this is a closed question. Now, again, the helping verb is the first thing, subject the second thing. Okay, had he already emailed you? Yes, he had, or no, he hadn't. Okay, guys? Yes, he had, or no, he hadn't. Okay, excellent. Well done. Right. Okay, so let's look at some other examples here for you. Okay, so here we have to show you the example of one action, okay, before another action. Tamam? So here we have when Paul arrived, we had finished dinner. Okay, so Paul arrived. This is the past simple. We had finished dinner. This is the past. This is the past perfect. Okay, so which happened first? Paul. Okay, so Paul. Okay, had, so the people had, whoever they are, whoever they are, they had dinner before Paul. Okay, before Paul showed up, right? So before Paul showed up, people, okay, had finished their dinner first thing, okay, before he arrived. Okay, right. Look at this example. Now, just to remind you about the past simple. Okay, remember the past simple can tell us a story. Okay, in a particular order. When we say chronological order, we're talking about actions that take one after the other. Okay, so here we go. So Laura, example, moved to Canada in 2006. And then what happens? She met she met Bob in 2007, and they got married in 2009. So it's just pretty much one action after another. Okay, however, we can use the past perfect to talk about the same subject differently. Okay, have a look. Okay, so the past perfect can tell the story in a different order, right? So not the chronological order, but we can do something else. Have a look. So Bob and Laura got married in 2009. Okay, that's the last thing. That's the last action. Okay, so Laura had moved to Canada in 2006 and had met Bob in 2007. So what do we have here? So we have Laura had moved to Canada and had met Bob in 2000. So these two actions took place before, okay, before what? Before they got married, okay? Remember that. So this tells us which happened first. Okay, guys? Perfect. Excellent. Now, have a look at this example. When I got here, Omar left. Omar left. So what happens here? So we have two past simple. So got here, okay, you got here, and then Omar left, right? So the first thing, and then Omar left. Quite simple. When I got here, Omar had left. So now we have the past perfect here, where it says Omar had left. Now this tells us this happened first, right? So the first was Omar left, then I arrived, okay? By the way, we also have the past perfect continuous too. That exists as well, okay? So it's the same thing, but the difference is we're just talking about now a period of action, okay? Same situation. It happened first, but this time it's a period of action, okay? So have a look at this sentence. By 6, I was hungry because I had been playing tennis all afternoon, okay? So before you were hungry, what were you doing before, right? You've been playing tennis for a long time. So good. So let's have a look at these examples here. So here we have to correct the sentence, make sure we have to choose the correct form. So here we have to say I was tired, okay? As you know, this is the action that happened after. So what was the first action? As I had traveled all day, okay? I had been traveling all day. I apologize. Of course, a traveling is a period of action, not just one situation. Good. The next one says, when we were late, okay? So when we arrived, the match, what? The match itself, the football match maybe, had already started or had started, okay? Had started. Okay, good. And the last one says, number 3, when we rang, okay? When we rang, Lena answered. So we should say, when we rang, Lena answered. I guess answered the phone. Okay, she answered the phone. Quite simple. So one action happened and then another action took place. Okay, good. Right, that ends the revision for Unit 3. Okay, so Unit 3, as we discussed, talks about the differences between the past simple, talks about differences between the past continuous, and talks about the differences between the past perfect, and we just talked about it very briefly, the past perfect continuous. Okay, good. So I do wish you guys a lovely day. Thank you very much for your time, for watching, and inshallah, take care. Bye.